Welcome everybody to whatever the fuck this show is. I think it's the Pizza Palace. Yes, of course. With your boy
Yes.
Robert Winstanley, joined by Hollywood Sean Murphy, who is very much a man of the people, talking on Twitter about
Oh,
how little he wants to
all
be
right.
around
All right.
any of
So
you fucks.
let's talk about this. Okay. So first of all, I had my brother talk to me
Uh-huh.
about this. I had my
Uh-huh.
youth pastor talk to
Okay.
me about this. I had
About how you're
fans.
not a man of the people.
Well, no, just like talking about how
Mm.
funny they thought this Twitter exchange was, and how you were like Hollywood Sean Murphy, man of the people.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yeah, that really did make me look like an asshole. However, let me just explain. When I bought the
First of all,
ticket,
can you read the tweet to the people so that they know exactly what you tweeted out?
yeah,
Because when I saw it, I
absolutely.
laughed so hard because I knew what you meant. And
Yeah.
I didn't disagree with you, but I just thought it was really funny because I was like, Sean Murphy's out here trying to
Listen,
be the man of the people. And then he writes
listen,
this.
listen. First of all,
Mm,
I am by no means, and if anybody knows me, they
mm,
know that I'm not an egotistical person, right?
sure.
They know that about me. However, I went to see Thor Ragnarok,
Oof.
and
Wait,
on
is
a
that what it was called? Ragnarok? No, it was Love and Thunder,
no,
right?
Thor Love and Thunder. Thor Love and Thunder. I went and saw Thor Love and Thunder, right?
Mm,
And I show up to the theater,
yes.
and
AMC or Celebration?
I went to Celebration in downtown
That ain't
on
it.
a Sunday evening.
Okay. Interesting
Sunday
choice.
evening. And when I bought the tickets
Yeah,
earlier in the day,
sure.
that row was empty. The exact reason why I booked 2 seats
Hmm.
in the middle of the
Yeah,
row. Now,
right.
don't get me wrong. All right, here's the tweet specifically, and I'm going to give the context after I read the tweet because the tweet is objectively funnier without context. PSA: if there's an empty theater and you buy seats right next to me, you're an asshole. You just are. Okay?
Hey, look,
I
there's my tweet.
hate to break it to you. You're an asshole.
Mm.
Okay? And then Robert said Hollywood Sean Murphy, man of the people, which I would normally say I am.
Mm.
However, this just objectively makes me look like I think I'm a celebrity, and I understand. But what I'm saying is when I booked the tickets, right? The
Mhm.
theater was empty. I got the row by myself, right?
Mhm.
But
Did you buy 2 seats with the idea that you would have, like, extra rooms so that you weren't by people?
yes,
Yeah,
and I bought it in the middle of a row
right.
so that even if people wanted to sit in the row, they could either sit at the left end or the right end and then leave enough space so that we can just not be around each other, right? But these,
Well, you
not
were
one,
guaranteed on one side, but you weren't guaranteed on the other, right?
no, it was like both sides were empty when I booked this ticket. Like only us
Yeah,
were, it was dead center middle of the row, like
sure.
literally had this all planned out, right?
Mhm.
I am telling you that these 2 families of 4 who could have just taken the 4 seats at the end of the row
Yeah,
all just decided
yeah.
to bunch up right next to us and booked their seats literally right next to us. So we went from this perfect situation where we could have room to just chill out. It's recliner seating. I don't want to be reclined next to some lady with freaking bunions out with her feet because she has sandals on.
Wait, hold on. Was it you and someone else?
Yes, it was myself and my roommate.
Oh, my bad. I don't know. I blanked when you said that. I missed that part. So I was thinking that you bought yourself a seat and then bought an extra seat to be empty so
No,
that you had
no.
okay.
It
So
was
you have people
myself.
that just suddenly crowded on the
Yes.
two of
So
you.
I
I
did
see.
not
Okay, okay.
buy 2 tickets to the movie for myself. No, I'm not Hollywood Sean Murphy. I'm cheap. I specifically have the
I
subscription
had to
so
ask
that I
that
can
question.
I specifically have the subscription because objectively it saves
Yeah.
you money if you go more than once a month to go to the theater,
Yes.
especially with how expensive tickets are now. But anyway, I
Sure.
digress. These
I
people
didn't
sit
realize
right next to me.
Celebration had the same thing as AMC.
Yeah. This was Studio Park right downtown.
Cool.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. But anyway,
Mm.
so Robert, there's also another thing.
Mhm.
Your household was hit with the old COVID-19. COVID-19.
Yes.
And we didn't know that, and we hung out.
We
right?
sure did.
Yeah. So I did a test or two yesterday. I was fine. Turned out I was negative. I haven't done my test yet today. So what I decided is we're gonna
Oh my
start
God.
the podcast. We're gonna go right up here. We're just gonna, we're gonna twist this around a little bit right up here. Oh,
I gotta tell you, I haven't even taken one
Oh.
myself. So my
yeah.
wife has it. I so far have not had a single symptom.
Yes. Oh God. I hate that. Ah.
I haven't.
shit.
I haven't. I haven't had a single symptom in 2 days so far, so I've been clean. So I haven't taken a test because I said I wasn't gonna bother taking a test until I had symptoms, and so far I've been symptom free. So
I am doing this for the content. A COVID test on the pod.
are you okay?
I'm great. I'm
Do you
doing
need
great.
help?
I'm actually having a lot of fun right now. Can you
How
tell?
far did you shove that shit up there?
3/4 of an inch, which is what they recommend. You know, the casual amount. I mix that around.
Yeah.
And then you do the drops, and then in 15 minutes we'll figure out if my fate is how long I'll live. Yeah. But
so back to your seating situation.
You like the surprise segment? Did you like this?
That's fantastic. Yes. Make sure you set a timer so that we have it.
100%.
Okay,
Oh,
good.
100%.
Yeah. Since I have an Amazon Alexa, she's just, does the timer for me or whatever, but
Right. Told me to do 3 drops. I did 4 just to make sure.
I think if you do extra, it actually makes it less accurate.
I don't care.
Okay, I'm just
timer for 15 minutes.
Okay.
Starting now.
All right, we on the clock.
Beautiful.
Welcome to the Pizza Palace, ladies and gentlemen.
Remember at the top of the show when I said whatever the fuck this is? This is kind of what I meant. So anyways, essentially you were just pissed because there was a whole theater available and they chose right next to you.
Yeah, well, yeah, and even then, like, we found out, like, the theater was a little bit more packed. Like, there were more people that came in, but it's like, there was room in the row. There was. You could have done the 4 seats on this side, 4 seats on that side. Instead, they sandwich in the middle. And, like,
that's because the edge seats suck, Sean.
And listen, if it was a better movie, I would have felt fine about it.
I heard this movie sucks.
It's okay. Like, it's fine. The thing about it, in my opinion, and we don't have to go too deep into it. This isn't a Marvel.
Of course.
This is
and I've hated all of the Thor movies. So
well, yeah, it's just, and we talked about this a little bit already, like how it's like that type of comedy where it's just like super meta, and he just talks. Oh well, it's fine. It's all about. I mean, like, I'm just scribbling dead alone. Like they literally that for 2.5 hours, and then Christian Bale going, "Give me the axe. Give me
that sucks."
And
I gotta tell you,
and then I tell you what, I'm not to spoil the movie, but there's this one joke where, in Greek mythology, like how Thor technically has like these 2 goats, like as his steeds. Well, of course, and at the beginning of the movie, he saves these people, and as a thank you, they give him these goats. And the joke about the goats is that that screaming goat meme online.
Oh my God!
So
you mean from like 2009?
Yes. So like that one.
Yeah, but like the Taylor Swift.
Yes. So they literally have that screaming sound. They're both screaming goats. And so, of course, they use
What year is it?
Yeah, I know. But then they use the goats to guide the ship. And so they're like they're like at the front, and so you just hear them screaming, and they make that joke not once, not twice, but 7 times.
No, are you serious?
Yeah, like you're like, all right, and we're off, and it's just, and then there's a time where, like, remember in Rick and Morty where they're going into a planet, but then Remember in Rick and Morty when they do the thing where they were like, all right, let's go on this planet, and then they crash into it, like, oh well, I thought it was way farther away than it was.
Yeah.
Well, they do that joke, and then they landed to a planet, and then the goats scream. So like, yeah, it was so dumb, and I hated it. But I hated that I laughed at parts, and it was
This makes me want to die. That's
And
like
then-
if they randomly had Odin do like the Trollololol song.
Oh yeah, and then one more thing, they
Mhm.
made the love story arc that you expect in the film with
Sure.
Jane and Thor
Sure.
really more so
Sure.
happens with his axe and
Yeah.
Mjolnir the hammer.
The hammer. Yeah.
And so they literally have a scene where he's like trying to resummon Mjolnir.
Mm.
And then the axe creeps around the corner and then turns at him looking like, what are you doing? And then it's like, oh, hey, no, nothing at all. Just thinking about how great you are. Just talking about how much I love you and like how much you're way better than Mjolnir. Like it's that thing.
I'm gonna need a lot more of this.
And then they do that not once, not twice.
Oh my
but
god.
5 times.
Oh my god. What is this movie? Okay. Sean, I gotta tell you though, the more that you went on though about your seat situation, I gotta say the less on your side that I am, and the more that I agree with the Hollywood Sean Murphy. The more that it becomes
Robert,
apparent that you are
look
not a
me.
man of the
No.
people.
I'm not accepting this
Okay.
because look me in the eye
Mm,
and tell me that if you were in my situation,
yeah.
that you wouldn't be annoyed. Because I've literally been with you
Yeah.
at the movie theater
Mhm.
where exact things have happened. You've realized how crowded our row
Yes.
is, and I've heard you go, "Oh, fuck me." So don't act like you're this Mr. Morality, man of the people, blue collar saint that is willing to take whatever's given to him. I'm
As
not
a-
accepting this troll job from you.
As a New York Yankees and Vegas Golden Knights fan, I can tell you, no shit, you dumb fuck. I fucking hate the people, but you don't. You purport yourself as Mr. Man of the People. Everyone knows that I'm a posh bitch that doesn't give a fuck. I'm the universal
No.
goddamn champion. All right.
No. Rob,
So
hold
I
on.
would buy the whole row by myself.
Hold the phone.
Yes.
You
Yes.
can be a man.
I
of the
literally
people.
shat on the whole
Listen,
state of Minnesota last
listen.
episode.
That's true. Fuck Minnesota. Anyway, and in addition, though, here's the thing.
Yeah.
I'm a man of the people, but a man of the people
Jace.
can also have a day of rest, man. Like it's Sunday night. I went on a Sunday night for a reason.
It's
Because-
Sunday. On the 7th day, the man of the people rested like Jesus did.
Exactly.
Or like God
Oh
did,
my
or whatever the
God.
fuck.
No, stop. I'm not saying I'm God.
On the
Stop.
7th day, God rested.
I knew that was coming and I was trying to avoid it. and I
Oh,
was like,
that's so
"No,
rough. Sean, you're making this a lot worse on yourself. I gotta tell you, buddy.
I hate you with all my heart.
I had a
dude."
similar situation to this, but it went way more Seinfeld than it did with your situation. My situation was we bought tickets and we got right in the middle, but the middle seats were like all tore up and fucking not in good shape. And so we were like, oh, well, fuck this. And we looked online and nobody had bought tickets and the previews were starting. So we're like, oh, well, that's fine. So we just moved to the seats right next to us. And this created the most Seinfeld ass situation because all of a sudden the theater starts to become packed out of nowhere. And so then it slowly happens where like this one couple's like, oh, hey, well, that was our seats, but they took it. So then they sat next to us and we're like, okay, cool. Those people were cool about it. We're chill. And then someone else like took our seats because they were like, oh, well, no one's here, even though these were bought. So whatever, we'll sit here. And then this other couple came and the couple that we had taken the seats of were now in their seats. And dude, it became this whole fucking thing where everybody was like seat swapped.
dude.
And I was like, bro, why did this one tiny decision create such a clusterfuck? Like, I'm so
Dude.
sorry.
So I had it where I went to a Pistons game by myself on a whim at the beginning of the season this last year. It was Cade's first game. And I remember when I found out he was going to play, I literally didn't think. I didn't check my bank account. I literally just was like, all right, I'm going. And we'd literally gone a week before. Like that's how like on a whim it was. And
Right.
so I went to the game. I got into my seat. I'm watching, and I'm like, all right, I'm thirsty. So,
Mm.
I get up, I get a Diet Coke. I don't have your brother there to go make him do it for me
Make him
because,
do it. Yep.
dude, can I tell you, that is my favorite meme, is that I will literally just go to your brother and I'll say, hey, I'll give him my card. Go get me a drink.
And
for
he'll do it
whatever
every
reason,
time.
your brother is so much of a pushover, and I
Oh,
love
yeah.
him to death, but he'll just go, okay. And he gets up and he just awkwardly walks
He
and
just does
goes.
it.
And then like 45 minutes later, he comes back with,
Well, the 45 minutes is my fault because I always drag him to the gift shop.
oh yeah, that's
And then
right.
you always
And then
text
sometimes
us
you'll
and
go,
you're like,
yeah.
dude, you've been gone for 2 quarters. Where are you?
Yeah, you'll come back with like 3 new jackets and like a new colorway hat. And you'll be like, I put $700 on the card.
I did wander around the entire LCA looking for a white Cade Cunningham jersey once, and I got that sumbitch. So you know what? It was worth it because they didn't have it at one of the shops. They didn't have it at the other shop, but they had it at the shop way at the end of the building, and I fucking wanted that sumbitch.
Come on, but tell me that's not the most accurate Robert description you've ever
It's pretty
heard.
close. It's pretty close. I don't know that
Yeah.
I could get away with quite that much, but pretty close. Pretty close.
No, but there are times. Well, there was the time that the last time we went where we had to go to the custom shop before we went to the game.
Well, we went to the Vintage Detroit,
Yeah.
which is an
Mhm.
awesome store. Yeah, and I got the 1984 Tigers dugout jacket, and then when we got to the game, then I got Cade's jersey and a
And I
hat.
have-
So yeah, you're right. You're right.
And I literally haven't seen you wear any of those items since.
Well, the Pistons jersey I've worn a couple of times. I think when we went to a game a little bit later, something like that. I haven't worn Cade a ton.
Sorry,
The Tigers I wore all the time.
The image you sent me in Snapchat.
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
So
my-
good.
Robert.
No,
just
the
has-
Tigers jacket I've worn quite a bit. I was wearing that more obviously when it was, cold, but yeah.
Well, anyway,
In fairness, you're not exactly around me a lot to see my fits. But,
that is fair. That is fair. However, I do know that you do get that drip whenever we go out or do anything. You always are
Bro,
wearing something.
I
cool.
always got it going on. Yeah,
That's kind of one of those things where I hope like when we get like, when I like kind of rise up and kind of like get to a point. Well, like I just,
yeah. When you become the deity that you are meant to be.
What I mean is when I work my way up into the industry where I get to a point where I make a good enough living for
Yeah.
myself. Like
I
one
love
of the
to do
things-
this to you,
I
Sean.
hate you, but anyway, it's like it's just like you set goals. You know what I mean? It's like not
Yeah,
like
no, I'm not. I'm just totally
I
pulling
know,
your.
I know.
Yeah.
It's like I'm not oriented by money. However, like when if I get to a point where I get the bag, if I get to a point where I get the bag, then like I wanna wear some cool shit. I
Goddamn
want to get
right.
some cool clothes. So like like whenever like these awesome artists or people in Detroit have drops coming out, I want to be able to like have disposable income to support. You know what I mean? Like there's just I want to be able to like express myself more through that. Like for example, like I love shoes, I love sneakers. I'd love to be able to one day have a collection to show off. I have some right now. I have some really cool shoes I've never worn before, dude. They're pretty sick. Have I ever shown you my Space Jam sneakers?
I don't think so. By the way,
All
what's
right.
your COVID test at?
We have 3 minutes and 43 seconds left, and there's not a line that looks like it's showing up yet. However, there is.
So in
4
other words,
minutes.
you're COVID free.
Yeah. So far, it's looking that way. However, we have a couple minutes, but I'm gonna go grab the sneakers real quick. We're talking football today.
Yeah.
So-
We're gonna talk football.
Yeah.
We just we haven't had a good random rambling in a while, so we thought we'd hit you guys with this.
Absolutely. So real
We're
quick,
feeling good. We're
since
we're
I
live
don't
and
want to
alive.
hear about them at all, and I'm not
Mm.
going to listen to this part in the editing when I go back.
Okay.
Talk about how excited you are to have Tom Brady, because I don't want to hear a fucking thing about it when I come back.
Thomas Patrick something or another Brady Jr. I tell you, he's the greatest man that ever lived. No, I'm happy to have him, obviously, as a Buccaneers fan, and I'm hoping that we can win a championship in his final season in the league and bring the 3rd title to Tampa Bay, baby. Go Bucks.
All right, good. Now I don't
I
want to
fucking love Tom Brady.
You shut the fuck up. All right. So,
Yeah.
around the time
Mhm.
Space Jam A new Legacy came out. Nike.
Another shit movie. We're just going down the line here.
Okay. I'm not talking about the movie, but you best believe I had to get that merch.
Of course, why not?
And
Show
they
me it.
had they had these Nike sneakers,
Uh-huh.
but they're not just any sneakers. But they got
Okay.
Lola Bunny on the front of
Yo.
these.
Yo. First of all, they should have had. Oh.
And then I got Bugs on these ones. So I got the Lola
Nice.
and Bugs. So when I go out and ball next, I'm wearing my Space Jams, man.
Hell
So
yeah.
because one of my goals, I want to get back to in shape to play basketball again. I miss it.
Hell
so
yeah.
when I'm out there, I'm gonna be wearing my Space Jam sneakers, baby.
Bruh, I'm gonna need some with Lola's fucking dump truck on them. That's the shoes I want.
I don't think those can legally clear through an airport.
Dude, I'm saying, god damn.
Yeah, they desexualized Lola.
Yeah, it's fucking unfortunate, man.
Well,
She, you know.
it was the right move. She shouldn't have been
fuck you.
sexualized in the first
I needed
place.
that dump truck rabbit in my stupid movie with LeBron
Robert,
James.
we don't want to get canceled, you dumbass.
Who cares? Fuck the people. I am not a man of the people.
All right, Robert.
These dumb people root for the Timberwolves. I mean, fuck them.
Robert, I have about 44 seconds to get COVID. Otherwise,
Okay,
I
here we
don't
go.
have COVID. So
That's a bummer.
40 seconds until COVID-19. COVID-19.
In fairness, you were only at my house for a brief amount of time, and also my wife was
In another room.
Yeah, she was quarantined in another room where the door was shut. So I mean, yeah.
This is just the final step, just the double check. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. Why not? Why not just be out here?
But all right, after we find out they don't have COVID, want
Yes.
to talk football?
Let's do it.
All right, awesome. I'm actually really excited, and a lot of people come to this channel like, come on, just stick to hoops. Like, listen, man. First of all, this podcast is a variety podcast. If you haven't figured it out by now,
first of all, hold on. Can I clarify a second something as the host here? Because I do remember that, and I thought that was annoying because some guy was like, "You're talking about hockey, return to your roots." Shut the fuck up, you dumb cunt. Because here's the thing: the podcast known as From Half Court is the one that is diehard basketball,
That's
all
basketball
all the
analysis.
time. It's like your deep dive, your nitty gritty, whatever. That is where Sean and other basketball people talk about basketball.
And
now,
I
we talk
love
about
Robert to
basketball
death.
here on
Yeah.
the Pizza Palace, but the Pizza Palace is about nonsense, bullshit, and occasionally sports of all varieties.
Yeah,
So
when we talk basketball on this podcast, it's more so in an educational format because that's how our friendship works. Because part of our friendship has been Robert's growing fandom of hoops. When I met Robert, he hated basketball. Now he's getting into the game. He actually loves it. He has players he roots for, teams he likes. He watches games. He's involved in it, and I'm teaching him the game and even helping him go back and learning shit. So that's part of this pod. In addition,
it's true.
I'm
still trying to figure out which team is like my diehard. Like it's basically the Pistons at this point, but I'm just like fucking all over.
And here's a secret.
Mm.
I like other things as well. Robert likes other things. If you haven't figured that out yet, we're going to talk about what we want to talk about. And today, now that we're kind of, NBA's in dead season, these things are waiting on. Maybe there's one thing we can talk about, like maybe Donovan Mitchell and like maybe like what you think of the Knicks and all that shit. But we'll get to that in a little bit. But for now, let's stick to football. I haven't been this excited for a Lions season in a while. And I know that like I'm not expecting them to be anything more than a 5 to 6 win football team. However, I think this is first of all, we're on Hard Knocks, which is awesome.
Yes.
And I know that like teams are like, we don't want to do Hard Knocks, but listen, objectively from a fan standpoint, hell yeah, brother. Like just from being a fan,
yes,
being in Hard Knocks is awesome. Having that
it's
content,
cool.
Having that behind the scenes look, seeing Dan Campbell and how he works is going to be amazing. And I think a lot of people look at his antics and think he's dumb, but like I think in reality,
I love Dan Campbell.
Listen, he's a great communicator. He knows how to connect with football players, and that's a locker room that all loves and believes in each other. And so like what I know is that like these guys are coming into this season bought in, which is something that you couldn't have said about the Lions these last few years with the Matt Patricia era. Like, people actually saw what Dan Campbell did this season, and the players, say what you will about what this team did this last year, but the players never quit on Dan Campbell. And if the players actually still fight for him in week 17, when you're literally as far out of the playoff race as you can, you have 2 wins on the year, you have a tie, you have so many injuries, your secondary's literally a practice squad secondary. Like, and you get 3 wins, one of them being against Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. Say what you will, final week of the year, Aaron Rodgers didn't play in the second half, but you dominated that team for 4 quarters. So overall, man, like, there's a lot of reasons to be excited. And then take that team and add guys like Jamison Williams, add guys like Aiden Hutchinson, get guys like Pascal in the draft. Like, this is a team that suddenly has some talent. And
Sure.
so if they can put some wins together, and this is the most weapons that Jared Goff has had on the offensive end since leaving the Rams. I mean, obviously it's only been 1 year, but this is actually comparable weapons wise to what he had when they went to a Super Bowl.
Sure.
I mean, you have a guy like DeAndre Swift in the background who's a dynamic running back. You have guys like Jamison Williams and Amon-Ra St. Brown on the outside that can get passes. You have a guy over the middle like TJ Hawkinson who can jump over the secondary, and if he plays up to his potential, could be a top 5 tight end in the NFL easy. So
Sure.
Jared Goff has all the tools and everything he needs and a new offensive coordinator. So in theory, that Jared Goff, if he is truly what the Lions hope he could be, just from the value of what they did in the trade, of if you put a good team around him, that he can at least be reliable or consistent, or at points actually play really good football, then this team could be competitive. But otherwise, they're going to suck ass, and we're going to go get a new quarterback next year, and that's just going to be the way it is. So, there's just going to be a lot of things that are come out of this season I'm excited about.
Yeah, for sure. So here's my analysis of the Lions at this point. Hard Knocks is going to be fun regardless, because I think regardless of if your team is horrendous or great, I think Hard Knocks is something as a fan that is really cool, especially because, anytime you get to peel back the curtain of one of your favorite sports teams, it's always going to be cool. It's always going to be cool. So, I'm excited about it, and it's even better when you have guys like Dan Campbell who are instantly lovable and super exciting and just fun to watch. And he's got great quotes and says silly things that are, they're silly, but they seem to work. So
I mean, imagine even the segments of
I
Aiden
enjoy it.
Hutchinson going and hanging out, going ATV riding on his off day or something, or going
Yeah.
being about back home, or going back to U of M or something. There's just all these different things that different avenues they can go down as well. And I hope they pay homage and respect to just the Lions fan. I hope they don't just go the Lions historically have been a joke. You know what I mean?
I think that's probably pretty close to the route that they're going to go. But
yeah, 100%.
Even still, I think it'll still be fun. Now, as far as the Lions themselves, right now in the NFL, they have the most expensive offense in the league.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is
unreal.
It's one of those bizarre things when you hear it, you're like, that can't possibly be true, and then you look it up and you're like, oh, it is. And
but you look at why,
and
you look at why.
Fucking yikes, man.
Well, first of all, if you look at why, it's that offensive line, right? I mean, it starts there.
Right.
And the Lions, say what you will about what they were as a team,
Sure,
did have one of the better offensive lines in the league last year.
Sure.
So, that having that as an advantage, but at the same time, like you said, having an overpaid guy like Jared Goff at the helm at quarterback, having the weapons that you're going out and getting, and when you were an offense that didn't produce at a even average level last year, and you're the most expensive offense in the league.
Let's look at 3 other teams, 3 teams that I think of when I look at, okay, the Lions have the most expensive offense in the league. They have a no longer a rookie, but a second year wide receiver in Amon-Ra St. Brown, and he's the best wide receiver that they have. Everything else that they have with the wide receiving core is okay, and we'll see what they end up being. You have Jared Goff, who, I got to be honest, I might be the only person, and maybe it's because I'm not a diehard Lions fan who has all this investment into the team, and I just see it from sort of an outside perspective. I believe in him still. I really do. I think that he's got a lot of the tools. I think he's a decent quarterback. I think he is, um, like the one issue that I have with Jared Goff is that sometimes he makes bad decisions,
Terrible.
in like really clutch situations where you would need to make. I mean,
Terrible.
yeah, that's definitely one of my biggest things. But other than that, I think if he can just clean up some of the football IQ stuff, which is really hard to do because that's the kind of
Yeah.
thing that you can't teach.
He's
But if
the
he can figure
guy.
that shit out a little bit,
Jared Goff is not the guy that if you go when life hands you lemons, make lemonade.
yeah,
He is the guy that he is going to give you what you give him. If
sure,
you give him an offense that doesn't have weapons, that isn't dynamic, that your wide receiving core is young, you have DeAndre Swift in the backfield, but that's about it. You have a good offensive line, but there's injuries all throughout the season, and you have an offensive coordinator that doesn't know what the actual hell they're doing. You're
sure,
going to be in a situation where you're going to struggle. However, I mean, obviously, we saw as Amon-Ra St. Brown kind of showed to be a more legitimate target when TJ Hawkinson was actually on the field. He was a good threat for him down the middle. And when the offensive line actually started to stay together and with having guys like Penei Sewell on the line that are so consistent and stable, obviously we saw Jared Goff play better as the season ended. So the hope is and the expectation is that, hey, since we do have this great line, if they're healthy, if our weapons are healthy, if Jamison Williams can stretch the field like we hope, if TJ Hawkinson could be that threat down the middle, if he can be that Travis Kelce type of tight end that we hope that he can be, if all these things come together, like listen, it's like I'm not saying he's Travis Kelce. I'm just saying if he's a top tight end
yeah,
in the
no, for
league, a
sure.
top five,
So,
but like that's the hope. But like let's just give perspective. Here's the list of the most expensive offenses in the NFL
yeah,
because some of these make sense, some of these don't. Because you start at number 1 and it's the Lions at 123 million. They're technically spending
sure,
more money than the Dallas Cowboys, which is saying something because this is a team that's overpaying Dak, that's overpaying Zeke, that did have Amari Cooper, but then they traded him. So obviously that's what put them down below that. But then they're tied with the Washington what do I even freaking call them anymore?
I was about to say the Redskins, and then I was like, shit, it's not
Yeah,
the
the
Redskins.
Commanders,
The football team. Oh, the Commanders. Yeah, yeah. I was
Yeah,
gonna say
yeah.
football team is the only thing I knew is their
Yeah.
Washington
And
football
I
team.
was like, God dang it, I forgot what their freaking terrible name was. But
Bro, they need
the
to
fact,
figure it out.
I mean, but they have Carson Wentz, and then they have a lot of overpaid people on that team as well.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
they do have Carson Wentz.
yeah, yeah, and then you have the Tennessee Titans. I mean, that makes sense.
Sure. The
The
Cardinals
Cardinals
just went up.
yeah, the Cardinals just went up. This is probably out of date. The Cardinals are probably number 1 now.
Yeah. Yeah, I
However,
would
but I
think
mean,
so.
you have Kansas City, you have New
Sure.
England, Baltimore, Cleveland. So one of these things is not like the other. One of
Yeah,
these
because a
things
lot of
does
these are
not
really
belong.
yeah, most of these are great offenses ish. I think Washington and Detroit are the two outliers for
And
sure.
and here's the one concerning thing about about the price tag on this
Mm,
is that doesn't include the fact that Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamison Williams
is
are
a
both still on
rookie.
rookie
Yeah,
contracts. So they're gonna have some decisions to make. However, I mean, listen, the Jared Goff decision, this like after this year, the cap hit isn't as big as far as
sure.
if you want to cut him. I mean, in addition, like you can always like try and trade him as well. There might be teams that would be interested still in Jared Goff's services because it's not like this is his last chance ever
So
necessarily, but at the same time, like this is a prove it year for Jared Goff. It just is.
yes. So I was going to break down a couple of things. Number one, so I still believe that Jared Goff can be a very capable quarterback, especially in this offense. So I haven't completely given up on him the way that a lot of the fans have necessarily, and I don't
Right.
think he's like total buns. You know what I mean? Like I think he's a very capable quarterback. Now, is he going to win
He
the
was
Super Bowl?
just
No, he's not going to.
He
But
was just total buns for the first half of the year last year. That was the problem. Like for the
yes,
majority of last season, he was objectively buns.
yes. Now, the thing I was going to break down though is that you have the most expensive offense in the league. However, I look at teams that weren't even on that top list, by the way.
Yeah.
You've got teams like the Las Vegas Raiders, who I obviously love, and they have a quarterback that I think is comparable to Matthew Stafford in Derek
Yeah.
Carr. I believe in him, immensely. I love Derek Carr. I think he's a very capable quarterback. The one thing I have against him is similar to Derek Carr, where I think, or to Jared Goff, where I think sometimes he makes decisions that are a bit questionable because I think he gets a little excited. He has almost the opposite problem, as Jared Goff when it comes to why he's making the decisions, but ultimately the decisions have kind of a similar result. But I believe in him, especially because he has the right passion and the right, energy for it and the right, the whatever. He also now has Devontae Adams. Of course, Darren Waller, when he's healthy, is incredible. Hunter Renfro's been a good wide receiver. All of these names are on this offense, as well as they just drafted a running back. I think Zamir White. Fact check me on that. Is that his name? Either way, the fact is that they have a good offense, and they're not even on that list. And they have the best wide receiver in the entire league. Then you have
Right. Well, yeah, no, that's what I was pointing out is like the other thing too. You look at that list; it's generally not the best list to be on in the sense that a lot of those teams just are overpaying their offenses, and that's kind of the problem.
It's crazy. How are the Rams not on that? They have Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford. That's insane. The Buccaneers have Mike Evans and they have Tom Brady, and they're not on that list. It's crazy. They also have, Jesus, you want to talk about
They have a lot of guys on their offensive line that are on rookie contracts. They have a lot of they kind of trim the edges in a lot of other places. It's like a lot of those teams are pretty smart, and I mean, the other thing too, like Matt Stafford and Tom Brady both, like they kind of took discounts in a way. Like, they got paid, but they took more team
Tom Brady
deals.
Especially. That's something that he does all the time.
Yeah, like Matt Stafford did it too. Of like, listen, I'm going to get paid, but at the same time, like they wanted to make sure that Cooper Kupp could get paid, that they could keep the band together. You know what I mean? So,
sure.
And looking up the
I think it's Zamir White.
Yeah, it's Zamir White from Georgia. That's correct.
So, yeah, I mean, it's just interesting because I'm like when I look at the Lions, I go, they have a decent offense that I think has some promise. When I see the price tag that's on it, and then I look at these other teams that aren't even on that list, that aren't even close, that have, some of the best players in our league, I just go, yeesh.
Let me see if I can find their contracts real quick and kind of see where that kind of comes from.
If I had to put a official prediction down on the Detroit Lions as far as wins and losses, I think I'm going to go 8-8-1. I think that the Lions are an 8-8-1 team.
Interesting.
Yeah. They always seem to get a tie for whatever reason because the Lions are just obsessed with, having that one dumb game.
Right.
And then I just think they're just going to kind of break even. I feel like it's a team that I think they're going to be very similar last year, where they're going to have some really hot moments that give you a lot of hope, and they're going to have a lot of cold moments where you go, good God almighty.
So, real quick,
8-8-1.
So I'm looking at the team right now, and you look and it shows you like their cap hit or what their cap number is.
Yes.
So it was kind of exactly what I thought it was. So it kind of starts at your quarterback and your left tackle. So Jared Goff, his cap number, he has a guaranteed salary of $25,500,000 this year, right?
Yep.
His cap number is $31 million.
That'll do it.
Taylor Decker, left tackle. His cap hit is $18,900,000. And then and then from there, it's Romeo Okwara, their edge rusher, 27. He's 27 years old. He gets $14.5 million. So I mean, you have a pass rusher that you're paying. I think he might have been from the last regime.
Okay.
So going into this year, Jared Goff is a $30 million cap hit. Taylor Decker's a $17 million cap hit. Romeo Okwara, Jeff Okudah. It gets expensive, man. It gets expensive.
And having a good offensive line, I get it, man, because a good offensive line can really hide a lot of mistakes. But the problem is that, I mean, at least last season, I didn't see enough out of.
You got to pay your weapons too, but it's kind of the interesting balance because you look at the Bengals and they had great weapons. They have an awesome quarterback. They couldn't stop a running nose. They literally couldn't block anything. So that's the thing of like with Jared Goff, he's the kind of quarterback. He needs time. Like he just needs the time.
For sure, but I think that the thing about that though is it is that delicate balance, right? Because it's like he has all the time in the world, and yet he still isn't able to capitalize on it, and the team still sucks.
That's why
Whereas you get the Bengals, and they have no offensive line whatsoever, and yet they went to the Super Bowl.
And what's the common denominator there? What's the common denominator there? It's the quarterback. Joe
Sure.
Burrow's
Sure.
Joe Burrow's the type of guy that extends time, finds his weapons, high IQ, dedicated in the film room.
Sure.
Jared Goff is the freaking aloof kind of like guy that like looks like he's just like he looks like the guy on Facebook. It's like I clock in, I clock out, I have fun, I do my thing.
Yeah,
Like
he's just kind of there.
he's the California kid. Everything's like sunshine, rainbows, blonde, perfect looking guy that
Sure.
just looks like he's just not putting in enough time. Like that's just the type of guy he comes off as. I'm not making those claims. Woodward is a very, we're very much in, like, I'm not speaking for Woodward here. This is Sean Murphy talking. I just want to clarify that. But, to me, it's just like, that's
Woodward can ligma.
nope, we're not saying that. Anyway, no. But, it's one of those things where, like with him, it really, that's the common denominator. Like it's like it starts and ends at the quarterback. Like you talk about like the Raiders, like their success, they don't have the most expensive offense. That's because a lot of these times Derek Carr was taking chicken shit and turning it into fried chicken, man. Like that's just how he was. So with these guys, like with Jared Goff, like it's one of those things where yeah, absolutely, they're putting all these things because that's the type of quarterback he is. Like when you're building around him, he has to have the perfect situation because he had the perfect situation for 4 years and got to the Super Bowl once.
Yeah.
Was like 7-9 another year.
Sure.
Got benched in a playoff run. People forget a couple years ago before he left the Rams, he got benched in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like he had an injury. He could have played. They flat out were just, no, we're keeping you on the bench. We're better with our backup quarterback in this playoff situation because that's how much Sean McVay gave up on him. That's just what it was.
For sure. Who did the Rams? Was it the Seahawks? They played against somebody, and it started to go really poorly, and then they brought back in the injured Jared Goff, who ended up being
it was the Seahawks.
Okay.
It was the Seahawks.
Yeah, it's tough, man. I think, like I said, as far as my prediction goes, I believe 8-1 is a pretty reasonable bet for the Detroit Lions. Yeah. What do you think?
I'm thinking I'm going more. I think 6 wins should be the goal.
Sure.
I think 6-11 should be the goal, but I'm going to go 5-12.
Okay.
I generally speaking, I think you're going to kind of rely on these young guys to be healthy. We still don't know when Jameson Williams is actually going to be available. It could be week 3. It could be week 13. It could be week 10. You never really know. You don't want to rush that. It really depends on, is TJ Hawkinson available? Is DeAndre Swift available? Is Jeff Okudah the shutdown corner that we want him to be? Is Aiden Hutchinson actually getting after the quarterback in the NFL? Like, I think there's so many variables with this team that, like, to me, like as a Lions fan, my expectations are always low.
Sure.
But this is even a year where my expectations are relatively high for them. And that tells you something when I say they're going to get 5 wins. My expectations are relatively high because the thing is like, I think they could get as high as 7 wins. And I think they could be a team that shocks people and is competitive and makes games close. And Aiden Hutchinson could be a really great rookie defensive player that shows a lot of promise. If Jeff Okudah is that quarterback, is that corner that Bob Quinn, stumbled into, then great. But otherwise, it's one of those things where, I just, do I have faith in Jared Goff to get it done? And that's where the 5-win prediction comes in because I don't.
That's fair. I think moving on, we have a pretty quick discussion of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because obviously being a team that just won a Super Bowl 2 years ago, you still got Tom Brady and, most of his offensive weapons and all that kind of stuff. There's not a lot to talk about really. The expectation is that they at the very least flirt with a Super Bowl run. Now, of course, this offseason, there was a lot of drama and bizarre situations going on of like Tom Brady retires and then he unretires. And then there's all this shit about the Dolphins. And then it kind of just got like really weird for a while. But now he seems to be committed again. So it's like, I don't know what the hell that all was.
Hey.
And then, so hopefully he's locked in and the Buccaneers are ready to go. But that was a really odd situation, obviously. I'm just glad I don't have to deal with Kyle Trask. There's some of the fan base that thinks that we should just, give him a shot and see how he looks. Let's fucking not do that, because Kyle Trask is maybe ready for the XFL, but I don't know that he will ever be good enough for the NFL. Like, I just do not have any faith in him whatsoever.
I think the Buccaneers are going to win their division. I think they're going to be a team that I think they'll probably make it to the NFC Championship. I think, Tom Brady, you can never count him out.
Sure.
He's the guy that never ages. If he has Mike Evans available, they went and just got the new who did they just pick up? What was
I was just going to bring that up. So I was going to say that Rob Gronkowski has legitimately retired.
Yep.
Unlike all this nonsense that has been going on, and even Gronk did the fake, well, it was real for a year, but you know what I mean? That weird retirement thing. Gronk is officially gone, which is a huge bummer, because he's an asset not only with his, catching and scoring and stuff like that, whatever, but also his blocking is extremely underrated. But they just picked up.
So long, SpongeBob.
That's right. But they picked up Kyle Rudolph,
That's
who
right.
I like. He former Notre Dame grad, so I like him.
He's solid.
He's very solid, and he played for Minnesota for a number of years, and then apparently he was on the Giants somewhat recently, which I guess I didn't entirely realize. But I think he's going to be a really good add to the team, so that's nice. If I had to make a prediction as far as how this team ends up, I think 14-3 is probably what I'm guessing will end up at. I think that the Buccaneers make it to the Super Bowl. They win the Super Bowl, Tom Brady retires, and then the Bucs go back to being the Bucs.
I would, if Tom Brady wins another Super Bowl, I'm done watching football.
Well, don't worry, because he'll retire after that, because then he's going to become the part owner of the Dolphins and be a television commentator.
And then whatever game he's commentating each week will now be on mute forever. Like, I will never listen to that guy's voice. I would rather, he's going to suck at it. And I'm looking
You sound like such a boomer.
He's going to suck at it. And I'm looking forward to all the memes that are going to come out. He's going to try to make corny jokes and be that dad Tom Brady that he is. Because he's such a cringy guy whenever we hear him talk. And so he's going to be so cringy. And I'm looking forward to it. But anyway.
I can't wait for you to love him.
Can I give you my dark horse Super Bowl prediction?
Sure.
Okay. So this is a little crazy one. It's a little out there.
Here we fucking go.
I want you to stick with me. All right.
Yeah.
So, per Adam Schefter a couple days ago, the 49ers have given Jimmy Garoppolo permission to seek out a trade. Right?
Okay.
And the only reason why the 49ers would do that is if they truly believe in the quarterback that they drafted top 3 overall, Trey Lance, is going to start.
Which I do not.
Which I have no clue what he's going to be. However, if Kyle Shanahan is signing off on the idea of letting Jimmy Garoppolo seek out a trade, which he is very involved in that organization and how it functions, and Kyle Shanahan, say what you will about the 49ers and how they were the last couple of years, we all know if they, last year we saw when they were healthy, how dangerous they were in the playoffs.
Yes.
Because they almost went to the Super Bowl last year.
Yes.
Right? If they had a quarterback, they would have been in the Super Bowl. And they have they have everything they need on the defensive end. They have the best offensive mind, arguably in football, as their head coach. That at the majority of the time when he has faced off against the Los Angeles Rams and Sean McVay, has won that matchup. I think the Rams, I think they might have a little bit of a Super Bowl hangover. I still think they'll be really good. They're bringing back the band. Matt Stafford and Cooper Kupp year 2 could potentially be even better. That could be terrifying. But anyway, I think ultimately, I think the Buccaneers ultimately get to the NFC Championship. I think it's a 49ers Buccaneers NFC Championship if Trey Lance is the quarterback that the 49ers believe he can be. And ultimately, if they have the running game that the 49ers have the potential of having, if their pass rushers are healthy and available and can get to Tom Brady and affect pressure, because that's when Tom Brady can actually lose football games, is when he's actually pressured. And if people can actually get to the quarterback, which we've seen the 49ers get to the quarterback, I think the 49ers are a dark horse Super Bowl team.
Sure, I don't necessarily disagree with your points, especially if Trey Lance does end up being the quarterback.
It's contingent on what Trey Lance
totally
is,
contingent
yeah.
on that, which I have no faith that he is.
Yeah,
So
and I
I
have no
think
clue. But
sure,
again, if Kyle Shanahan is signing off on it,
sure.
because again, it's one of those things where like when it's like when the Chiefs trade, and I'm not comparing him to Patrick Mahomes, but people had the same thought process of what are they doing, trading Alex Smith and throwing Patrick Mahomes in there. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, that better work. It's
Which
the
I do
same.
find hilarious because Alex Smith was never that good. Like, let's all settle down on this. Like, Alex
But
Smith
also,
was worth a fuck.
But also, could it potentially be even like Colin Kaepernick situation where even though ultimately at the end of the day, later in his career, he wasn't the greatest, but at the very least, when people didn't know what his game was and they couldn't really scout for him, he actually was solid. That could potentially be a thing as well, and they could potentially ride that high.
Sure.
So, that's just where my head goes as far as like potential, like, because like the 49ers truly, like, even though they're like throwing in a young quarterback and like they might be like taking the time for him, and they do have a young core as far as like what they're building around, like at the same time, I think they potentially have like one of the more one of the more dangerous teams in football as far as like what they have on their roster.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Yeah, I think it is completely contingent, obviously, on the quarterback situation. I just believe, and not even just as a Bucs fan, but I just think of Tom Brady. Like, there's no way that he doesn't ride out on a swan song where he wins that, 8th Super Bowl. He retires. He gets some ownership in a team. He's now a broadcaster on television, and he just, continues to ride this rainbow road of, paved in gold. And
I'm
then,
not gonna,
after that, the Buccaneers are going to be. I think they can still be competitive and be good because of how good the core is and how many contracts we have signed that are going to last for a while. The biggest issue is going to be that they have nothing quarterback wise after Tom Brady. Like, if they're playing as Kyle Trask, that is hilarious because Kyle Trask is ass. So that's not going to work.
So for me, I kind of had the, like.
Also, I wish that the Raiders were competitive, but here's the thing: the Super Bowl is in Vegas, so I would love nothing more than the home team thing to continue. The Buccaneers wanted their Rams, and then I would love Vegas to win. I think that the Raiders will be significantly better. I think they'll make the playoffs, definitely. I think they will win a playoff series or a playoff game. Sorry, I'm used to baseball right now. They'll win.
I'm watching a bear attack someone in a circus act. But anyway, no.
So I think that they'll win a playoff game, and then
anyway,
and then
but
after that they'll lose to the Chiefs.
So my thing, I'll be honest, like, just full transparency. You know my feelings of Tom Brady. I've made it very clear on this podcast.
Obviously.
It's hard for me to be unbiased with the Buccaneers. As
Simply
far
because
as
of him, yeah.
I don't know outside of Gronk how much they've actually retained their team.
A lot.
Okay, so a good amount.
Almost
of it,
everything.
Sure.
Almost everything. Yeah,
And
we haven't lost anything of any major value other than some defensive pieces.
And then here's the other thing too. They did make the head coaching change.
Yes.
And so,
I think that was for the best.
We'll see. I mean, he was an awesome coordinator, and if he truly is the coach that they believe he can be, which is why they made that move, it's similar. To me, it's similar to how the 49ers, it's contingent on the quarterback. To me, the Buccaneers is kind of contingent on the coach. It's kind of contingent on the coach Tom Brady relationship at the very least, because like how that works. Because maybe the reason why they did that was so that they could give Tom the keys on the offense.
Ding, 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 ding. So the issue is
on the
he's not a coach.
Yeah, son of a bitch. God damn it.
I'm not trying to be a dick because like I like Todd Bowles as a guy. He seems like he's a really good dude who's working his butt off, and who knows, maybe he does deserve this position.
He's a glorified defensive coordinator that's partnering with Tom Brady to run the team.
That's pretty much it. Yeah, I'm not, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's a great offensive mind. Maybe he's our coach of the future, and maybe we get another quarterback after Tom Brady's gone and he continues this success, and maybe I'm going to eat these words. But at least based on his track record and the fact that he was a coach of a Jets team, albeit a terrible one, my thing is Bruce Arians was getting in the way of Tom Brady's success with the Buccaneers, and I think that that was very apparent last year as compared to the Super Bowl year. And I think that this was basically a way to get him the hell out of the way so that Tom can take control, go win the Super Bowl with his team, carry him on his back and show them, this is how you win, son. And then once he leaves, that's why I said the Buccaneers are going to kind of go back to being the Buccaneers, because we have talent. But then we're going to have a coach who it's like, okay, is he actually capable, or was Tom Brady capable? And it's going to
Right.
become a whole thing. I think the Buccaneers will have a bit of a rough, kind of go of it after that. But I'll be pretty satisfied as a fan, because 2 rings is a lot better than I could have ever imagined. So, 2 rings in the last, 3 in my lifetime. Pretty fucking good. So I'll take it. But no, I think Todd Bowles is just there to get out of the way.
Yeah.
Which I know you love.
I just, to me, this has just been the worst case scenario summer for me, because it started with hearing that Tom Brady was going away, which was the best news I could have ever heard.
Okay.
And then not only did we hear that, no, he's actually coming back to go get another ring.
Yes.
But in addition, he's going to be talking to my face every week for the next 10 years.
Yes, he is.
Getting paid more to do that than he ever did to play the game. It was it's like, oh, not only is he not leaving, but now he's never leaving, and I actually have to hear him talk. Like, life's just not fair, man. Like, what's that? And watch him be like, oh, I want to commentate the Lions. That's going to be my assignment. I want that. Imagine him just doing that.
The only way he's going to do that is if y'all are good, which won't happen. So, hey.
No, he's getting the primetime games. I know he's replacing Troy Aikman, because they lost Troy Aikman. I get it, but
they lost him to weed and edibles.
And ESPN,
dude, every game with
pretty
that
much
guy.
the same thing. By the way, did you hear Charles Barkley might leave inside the NBA to go do LIV golf?
Are you serious?
There's reports that he might if he does live golf, he might have to leave inside the NBA, and he might.
I mean, okay, so the first part I'm not surprised by. I feel like he's had one foot out the door for a long time.
Well, he's made it known that he's retiring in the next couple of years. So like live golf would be the ultimate retirement thing for Charles Barkley, because he just shows up to golf courses, does his Charles Barkley thing, gets paid a shit ton, and then gets to go golf. He loves golf, though. That's his thing.
He loves it. But
yeah, he loves fishing. He loves golfing.
He's not he's not going to be competitive with all the guys they have now. Yeah, live golf is ruining everything, and I'm really pissed.
No. I'm all right. He's not going to play. He'd be a commentator. He would be a talent for live golf. He would be part of the live golf broadcast, not as a player.
Okay, that makes significantly more sense.
He would be part of the broadcast. No. No, he's not going to compete in live golf. No,
listen,
not. No one would actually have a business model where they're trying to have serious golf and go, you know who we should get in addition to all this PGA talent? Charles Barkley. Let's have him play golf. No. It'd be
I gotta tell you, as silly as that sounds, live golf at this point seems like they are just doing whatever the hell they want. They are literally ruining the sport of golf, and I hate them for it.
Well, yeah, they're doing it with Saudi money too.
Exactly.
Not to make it political.
Most of why I hate it.
But they're literally doing it with investors that genuinely have killed people and have caused genocide. So
yeah, fuck Saudi Arabia. But the whole thing, or the Saudi government, whatever. The point is that man, like I thought that was insane, but I was like, I mean, they're kind of liable to do crazy things at this point. So he's going to do the broadcast, which is actually kind of cool. I guess.
But like inside the NBA, like if it is the end, which it looks like in the next couple of years, that crew's going to change.
Sure.
But if it is indeed the end,
yes,
it is the end of the era of literally the greatest sports broadcasting show in history. And like whoever replaces it, like, cause like they could. Like, I'm sure Dwayne Wade would be a great addition to that crew. Ooh. They have talent in house. They have Kevin Garnett. He'd be a great addition to that crew. He'd bring a different dynamic. Him and Shaq would be really funny.
I think him and Paul Pierce would be pretty cool.
But Paul Pierce, oh dear Lord, that would be so funny. But, but in all seriousness, like whoever it's gonna be, like it's gonna be right because they know what they're doing. When they brought Shaq into the crew, Like that was a controversial, but like it immediately made sense. It was the
Yeah.
perfect fit. So like it's the greatest broadcasting show in history. It'll continue to be awesome. I have faith in them.
Yeah,
They
for
do it
sure.
right. So
It's one of those things where like it's sad when it ends, but you're like, well, it can't literally go on forever. So
well,
it's
you know
like,
what the other thing too?
is what it is.
You know in the back of your head that Draymond Green when he retires is going to be on that desk.
I'd be open to that.
He,
I like
he,
that.
he's doing media right now.
He has like a podcast and
yeah,
stuff.
he's had deals and actually works for Turner Broadcasting as well. Already is like a media member for them.
Right.
So like, you know, he has the number one sports podcast in the world right now. Like he's gonna be that he's gonna fill in and be on that desk when he's available. He was when he wasn't in the playoffs last year. Like that just seems like a natural fit. It's like
yeah,
no matter
I think
what,
that would be good.
no matter what, they're gonna have the best show in broadcasting, and ESPN's never gonna catch up to them.
Yeah,
in the
for
NBA
sure, for
front.
sure.
No one will.
For sure. No, I agree. Yeah, it'll suck to lose him. Mostly to live is honestly like
That's
him.
why I just hope he just retires.
Exactly. If he steps away, it's okay, sure. But yeah,
but at
the
the
live
same
thing,
time, Chuck's the kind of guy that will just say, "Hey, I don't care I'll just take my money
hell
and
yeah,
do what's fun." And you know what? And if that's what
get
Chuck
that
wants
bag,
to do,
man.
and no one's gonna blame Chuck for doing what Chuck's gonna do. You know?
Yep. Yeah, get your bag, man. It's one of those things, man. Like
Yeah, he didn't get paid a ton in his career. Go get your bag.
For sure. And I'm not even really mad at most of the athletes. Like, here's the thing. I'm mad at the athletes simply in the way that it makes live golf a real thing, and it means that they they get the power that they're after, right?
They're validifying live golf.
It's
in the Saudi
giving
government's investment.
exactly. It's giving them success that I don't want. I am happy for the individual golfers, technically speaking, when it comes to the fact that I'm happy they're getting their bag, whether they're already rich or not. Get your bag, man, because I would do the same thing. I get it. But yeah,
Right.
from the moralistic standpoint, it's rough. But yeah, man, I'm super excited about this. To circle back the NFL season, man. I'm
Yeah,
hoping
me
that the
too.
Raiders can be super competitive, at least make a playoff run would be nice. I think they have the weapons available to do something really, really special. I don't know that they're gonna win a Super Bowl, although I would absolutely cry so happy if they did.
Here's
But
what
I
we
think that
should
the
do.
Buccaneers will do it.
Here's what we should do.
Yes.
We've been talking about this off the pod for a while, but I want to bring it on the pod so that we actually do it.
Sure.
Next week,
Yes.
let's fill out our predictions for the NFL season,
Okay.
our playoff bracket seeding, our
Okay.
just specifically, we can do our AFC championship and NFC championship prediction.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, we'll predict who we believe will be in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
And who will win the Super Bowl.
Okay.
And then the winner will get will be the first ever champion. The inaugural Pizza Palace World Champion.
Yes. Which you have the belt somewhere.
The belt will be here soon. We will. Yeah, the belt is
We'll
either
get it
at home,
maybe next week or the week after. We'll
the
figure it
belt
out.
is either in my closet at home in my parents' bedroom.
Yes.
Or we will go and buy a stupidly expensive one with from half court money.
We don't have any of that. But what we
we eventually do.
Oh, I was gonna say what we can do for now is we can go to Meijer and we can get another cheap flimsy one.
100%.
We can go to Little Caesars, buy another box, and then cut that some bitch out and then tape it to it like we did the last time.
Exactly, and it's gonna be beautiful, dude.
It's gonna be beautiful.
Yeah,
we'll do it on the Blue Universal Championship.
Yeah, and you know what the best part is? In this time, we won't have it taped on the belt that was in the Page sex tape.
Oof, was it on the Divas Championship?
No, it was on the NXT Championship, which is why they did the belt change. That's why they changed.
No. The Divas Championship is the one that came on.
No, it was also the NXT. The NXT
It was
belt,
both?
I think. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it was only the one with the butterfly.
I think Xavier Woods was wearing the NXT.
That's a big yikes. Because I do know, I don't know about that one, but I know
we're not
sure
gonna.
that
Yeah,
the Divas
I've never
Championship-
watched it, so I don't know where it popped up, but I do know that it was because of that. I do
know
that.
for sure that the Divas Championship that changed to the women's almost immediately because of that. Yeah, and it was the one with the butterfly.
Both.
It was like the tramp stamp looking one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, brutal stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But
Speaking
yeah,
of
man,
brutal stuff. The Pizza Pal. No, I'm kidding. I love this show.
the show is fucking buns.
I
Wait, is that? Oh, you can't hear it. Wait, are you able to hear it? The fire alarm, or not the fire alarm, the sirens. There's like a fire truck going by.
Faintly. Yeah, no, I can't hear it.
Okay, I was gonna say, I was like, I can turn my gain all the way up, or my whatever. Like,
No,
no, you can't hear it.
no.
That's a bummer. Jesus, what are we doing? What is this?
What are you doing? That's the better question. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
So yeah,
Oh.
in other news, nothing good has happened to the Detroit Tigers. They did win today, which was cool, I guess. But like,
Fire Alavela.
yeah, it's just like, who cares about their season? It's
I
over.
will not go to another Tigers game. I will not watch another second until Alavela is out of that job. I don't give a shit. Whatever happens on this team at this point is counterproductive until Alavela is out of that seat. He's one of the worst GMs in pro sports. He's one of the worst GMs in the history of baseball. He literally hasn't done a single positive thing. He's maybe had 1 or 2 good draft picks. That's about it. The guy's dog shit at his job. Get him out of here. Alavela sucks at being a GM. Anyway.
And meanwhile, my New York Yankees have been doing pretty good, although they are currently shitting the bed against the Houston Astros. So that's kind of annoying, but it is what it is. I'm looking forward to October. I'm also looking forward to hockey season being back, even though it just ended. I am looking forward to seeing my Vegas Golden Knights.
I need basketball back so bad.
Yeah, the Golden Knights, man, they are such the epitome of how I handle sports. I mean, so are the Yankees, but it's just like that team where it's like, I get so pissed, just so angry, like no other. But then I have to tune into every game, and I love them, and I put on the jersey, and it makes me feel good, and I'm excited. And then they shit on my face, and then I go, you stupid motherfuckers. But then I don't care because I still love it. And it's annoying.
Well, speaking of shitting in your face, thank you for letting us shit in your ears for the last hour and 6 minutes here on the Pizza Palace, where unfortunately I do have to cut it off because I have to do a quick run an errand. So if we can end the episode here, I appreciate it. But
sounds great. Very subtle.
Yeah, thank you all so much for listening.
You could have messaged me in the chat. We do have a private chat up that you can send me these types of things.
Robert, does this seem like the podcast where we have that type of coordination?
I mean, for Christ. Anyways, I think we covered all the bases anyways.
I think we did too. This was a great episode.
It sure was.
That belt is heavy, by the way. Jeez.
Dude, I'm telling you. I tried to tell you, and yeah, when you held it when you come over, man, I told you.
Yeah, that thing almost made my muscles sore. God dang. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we love you later.